Chocolate Girls by Annie Murray. Read by Frances Barber. Prologue, November 1940. It would be remembered as one of the worst nights of the Blitz on Birmingham. The city was already heavily scarred from more than 2 months of regular bombardments. Houses and factories had been smashed open, unexploded bombs, incendiaries and shrapnel littered the city. In a residential street 2 miles from the heart of the city, a bomb fell on a solid Victorian villa. It was a direct hit, plummeting through the roof, its explosion causing the floors of the house to collapse, the whole building caving in on itself. No one was in the street to hear the faint, anguished voice of a dying woman calling out from the rubble. "Oh, God, help me! Where are you, my poor darling? Mein Liebling? Mein Herzenliebling?" And then these last desperate cries faded away, unheard by anyone but a petrified cat, hiding squeezed behind a shed in the garden next door. July 1939. "There she goes!" The siren blared out across the imposing brick buildings of the Cadbury works, through the surrounding trees and wide swathes of lawn, signalling that the afternoon shift was over. Edie Marshall peeled off her overall. It was time to go home. There'd been a lump in her throat all afternoon as she worked on the line. Beside her moved an endless river of chocolate bars to be packed, but her eyes kept misting over so she could scarcely see to count the bars into a box. "Edie, over here!" Her friend Ruby, picking out Edie's red hair among the crowd, waved a plump arm. The 2 girls walked out through the gates. "What's up with you?" Ruby nudged her. "Ouch!" Edie felt small and quite dainty next to buxom Ruby. The other girls had nicknamed them Ginger and Coco when they first started at Cadbury's, and Edie's long auburn locks and Ruby's thick brown hair had drawn close together at every opportunity, whispering and giggling. 5 years later, they hadn't changed. "Come on, you're getting married on Saturday. You're supposed to be happy." "I am happy. I want to marry Jack and get away from home, only I wish I didn't have to give up my job. I'm going to miss you so much. I'm so worried Jack and me'll end up like our mum and dad." Ruby's face soured at the thought of Edie's mum, Nellie Marshall, the vicious old witch. "Course you won't, but I'm fed up with you for finding a husband before me." Edie ended up laughing through her tears. Ruby always had been the one to cheer her up. "I've got to go into town," Ruby said. "We ain't got nothing in for tea." Edie felt so sorry for Ruby these days. Until a year ago, the Bonners' house had been the happiest place Edie knew. But Ruby's dad dying had changed everything. Ruby's mum, Ethel, was finding it hard to cope, and Ruby was having to be mum to her brothers as well as the main wage earner. "I'll walk you to the bus stop," Edie said. "Shall I take your bag home, save you carrying it?" "Ta." A queue of people built up for the bus. Edie enjoyed the feel of the sun. She kept her cardigan on, though, the sleeves pushed up to her elbows. Arms folded, her right hand fingered the triangle of pale, scorched flesh, which looked so ugly to her. "Such a terrible accident," Nellie used to tell people. "Edie's so clumsy, walked straight into me when I was bringing the iron from the fire." That was her mum, Nellie Marshall, prim stalwart of the Band of Hope Temperance Society, that same upright woman who'd come at her one day when she was 7 years old. Edie never understood what she'd done to provoke Nellie that day, except that she was late home from school. Nellie snatched up the iron from the fire, eyes burning with loathing. "That'll teach you," she spat at Edie as the iron hissed on her flesh. No accident. Edie was jerked out of her reverie by the sound of a sob coming from the woman standing in front of Ruby. Edie nudged Ruby. "She's at Cadbury's, ain't she? Accounts or summat?" Ruby shrugged. The bus had just pulled into view. The weeping woman fumbled to find her purse and her handkerchief dropped to the ground. Edie picked it up and touched the woman's arm. "Excuse me, you dropped this?" "Oh!" She turned round, embarrassed.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?